Good morning. Morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Friday. Super excited. It's another weekend here. Gonna be knocking out some bench press today. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. Looking forward to that. Let's see. I'm Tim. Welcome to my stream. It's stream of my workouts. I'm doing a body transformation this year. The thing that sets my body transformation apart from others is that I'm not taking any sort of supplements. That's no protein, so no protein powder, no protein shakes, no um, BCAs, no creatine, no pre workouts, nothing. Just trying to get all of the nutrients that I need from the food that I eat. So I'm not opposed to supplements. I think they work great. Have fun with them. Do what works best for you and helps you achieve your goals. I'm just not entirely certain it's absolutely necessary for me to take a bunch of supplements to hit my goals and just trying to see how it goes for a year. A secondary reason is that one of my kids started preschool and supplements are expensive. So cutting them out saves me at least $100 a month, and that's $1,200 a year. So, and in this economy, every little bit helps. So, um, yeah, going to be doing the bench press today. Going to be having some fun with that. See how that goes. Let's try to get this one thing flexed real fast. A little bit tired, still sick, man. It's been sick for like what is it, almost a week now, at least 6 days. It's getting really old. Tired of being congested. Hopefully, it won't last much longer. Um, it's not fun. There was another late night with the kids, so that didn't help. Hopefully, it's okay. I'm here. You gotta make do with what you got. All right, gonna warm up with the 10 pounds, 4.53 kilograms. Go. Oh man, I'm gonna have a busy day today. I got a lot of cleaning to do. So it's been somewhat of a rough week. My wife hurt her back, so she hasn't been really able to do a lot. So I've been doing a lot more. And I gotta tell you, like having my wife be a little immobile and having to do most of the work, I'm very impressed by single moms or single parent households. I don't know how you do it. I am amazed by people's ability to work and raise their kids and have successful kids come out of that situation. I think it's very difficult. So, you know, hats off to those people. That's an amazing thing to be able to do. I will I will forever be impressed with parents that can pull that off. I met this lady one time. She was a single mom, and I forget if she had 2 or 3 kids, but they'd all like gone to college. Let's see. Chick with chainsaw. Good morning. Says good morning. I think I followed you from Tomo's live. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, he did a shout out the other day. That was very nice of him. I appreciate it. Well, thanks for coming in. He's talking about just being very impressed with the single parents. Um, just what a hard job it is. My wife hurt her back, so she's been a little mobile this week. So I've been doing just everything by myself, and I'm just it's hard. That's me. 2 kids. That is rough. I'm very impressed. I can't imagine just the how hard it is to do when you're by yourself. So it's not easy, but I don't let it be an excuse for things. Gotta keep pushing. That's my face. Well, good for you, chick with a chainsaw. I mean, that's what you have to do, right? I mean, you can't make excuses, especially while you're doing it, is because they just don't help. It's not gonna make things better. You just have to keep going. You know, but definitely seems rough. And it's funny as I look back, man, and I'm a very stubborn person, and I know there were times where I drove my mom like up the wall, and I could not imagine though she had to raise me on her own. Because my dad definitely put the fear of God in us for disrespecting my mom. My dad found out we were being disrespectful. It was not a good thing. But I couldn't imagine just her having to do it by herself. I would. I'm very, very blessed. All right. Well, my hat's off to you, chick with a chainsaw. I that is such a hard job. I met this lady. It was years ago. She was a single mom, and I can't remember if she had 2 or 3 kids, but I was very impressed because her kids had. I think one was in college, one had graduated from college, and had done like this really. It's hard. It's very hard to get kids into college when you're doing it by yourself. And I asked her like, and she owned a house and she was doing well. I met her while I was working in a casino, and she was gambling pretty high, so it seemed like she had money. And I was like, "So what did you do? Like, what did you do for work? What was your secret?" And she's like, "Well, I'll tell you." Um, she said, I ran drugs. Her job was taking marijuana across the country, and she just made tons and tons of money living off of selling drugs all around the country. Just marijuana, nothing harder than that. But that was what she did for years. That's how she made it work. Chick with a chainsaw says, I think that is the hardest part. My kids do not fear me the same way. I know I don't know why. There's definitely a difference between the way my kids see me and the way they see my wife. And I don't understand it. I don't know why, because my wife is equally capable and does like discipline them. It's not like she doesn't discipline them, but there's something inherent about like the way they see dad versus the way they see mom. Maybe it has something to do with having been like it could just be that connection between moms and their children is so deep that the kids absolutely know that mom's not taking off. Maybe, I don't know. Or maybe it's just like, hey, I've been inside you for 10 months, 9 months, 10 months. I know you inside and out. I don't know. I know that like for me as a kid there was like an idea that I could fight with my mom. Even though I was small, I thought like that. But like my dad, I knew was like that it was tough. So I don't know. Maybe it's just because dads take more of an aggressive posture in public, and you see your dad being more aggressive could be part of it. I bet you there's a whole lot that goes into it. But the way we stand. This is the 50 pounds, 22.67 kilograms. Chick with a chainsaw. Dads don't take nonsense. Oh well. Yeah. I always told my wife that whatever happened, she didn't want to have to raise our kids by herself. And I said that from when I was from way before we had kids. We were together for oh we were together for 9 years before we had kids. So she had plenty of warning for what my kids would be like. And they can be rough. I'm very hard headed, and definitely pass that on to my kids. One of my kids was super upset last night because I took him to there's like this indoor play structure I take them to, and they wanted to play games afterwards, but they had ran themselves into exhaustion. And my one kid doesn't normally get like I think this was the first time they ever threw a real like solid temper tantrum in public. And they were pissed. And they cried all the way home and were not consolable or wouldn't chill out. They were crying when they got into the house, And I thought they would stop crying when they got home to their mom, but they didn't stop crying. And she was talking to them and trying to get them to chill out. And while I was getting dinner together, she even offered them like half a cookie, and not as like a bribe, like just to say, hey, like you're hungry, like here's something easy, real fast. And they like chucked it across the room. And they are a toddler, so it's not like this is like definitely would have been a much bigger problem if the older kids had done it, but like just losing their mind. And finally, they calmed down after a while and ate, and then fell asleep on me, which was a mistake. This is the part that I is so frustrating. Is you do things to exhaust your kids, and there's like a fine line, like where like they were exhausted, and it was just like 30 minutes before they should fall asleep, but they fell asleep on me, which meant I had to wake them up and get their pajamas on. And that small little nap just re-energized them. They were up to like 11 o'clock. It was like all of that work was for naught. That's fun. It's like you can't control, like there's no science to getting kids exhausted and passing out. Chick with a chainsaw says, "Sounds like my youngest kid." Ha ha. I've been there. Yeah, you always think you've done it. You think you've cornered the market. You think you have done all the work for them to go to bed early so you can have a night to yourself, and it just never works out that way. They just miraculously dig down deep and find energy. You do your kids still end up in bed with you? My kids will end up in bed with me and my wife, or like I'll end up in their bed. They just get too tired to like move them around. Chick with a Chainsaw says, "I gotta go. Have a good workout." All right, we'll do. You have a good day. Have a good weekend. Keep keep plugging away at being a mom. That's a hard job. Yes, they sleep with me too often. Someday I'll get my bed back to just me and my wife. It's hard though, because they get scared, or they just want comfort. There's been a few times where they say they're scared, and I know that they're not scared, but they just want to sleep with us, and that's hard. I don't like for them to be scared at night, because I can remember being scared at night, and that's not fun. I remember getting spooked out at night and lying awake, trying to look at all the shadows in the room, make sure every shadow had a reason for being there. I think it was easier when we were kids, is there were three of us, and we were each like a year apart, and we would end up in each other's beds like all the time. I think that probably saved my parents. I thought my kids would do that, but they they can't. They go crazy like when they're in each other's rooms. They start talking and playing and then arguing and then fighting. Such a blessing. feeling feeling good in the chest today. It's not hmm. I think because I normally do chest on Thursday, but I took Wednesday Wednesday off to try and get out of being sick. Um, so I've had my arms and my chest had like 2 days off, so they're feeling better today. Like push better, push more. I saw the news this morning. I guess Microsoft had some weird issues. Their cybersecurity company did a bad update. According to them, they're saying it's not a cyber attack, but I guess in New York, the LaGuardia Airport and JFK had like huge amount of delayed flights. The trains schedules not being posted for MTA. Just a lot of problems. It sucks. Whew. We're so very dependent on our computers working. I always hear that I always hear people talking about how bad like sun flares would be for us if there was like a big one that wiped out the computers. Definitely could see where it'd be problematic. I feel like I might have spoken too soon on saying My chest is feeling good. That last set was definitely harder. I jinxed myself. I'm excited today. My mom is gonna come and watch my kids for a couple hours. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm gonna try and watch the scary movie with my wife. While my mother-in-law, while my mom watches the kids. It's gonna be a nice break. They're super excited. I'm really hoping by Monday we'll be done being sick. I'm hoping sleeping in for Saturday and Sunday will be enough to push me over the hump. It's gotten better though. It has gotten better. All right, let's do this. All right, so that is the fifth set. So that's my first time hitting the 5 sets of 15 with the 50 pounds. I'm really happy about that. I'm going to be going down 40 pounds. I'm hoping that next week I'll be able to duplicate that, because if I can make it next week for the full another 5 sets of 15, and I'll move up to 55 pounds. What I try to do is hit if I can do 5 sets with any level of weight, then I like to move up. So I'm there now with this. I like to make it happen twice, so I can feel like it's not a fluke, and then I'll move up. I'm very excited about moving up. I've been at 50 pounds for a while. It's definitely harder to like stay in shape and hit all of my goals with kids. There's so many things can come up in your schedule that throw off your workout plans. When your life is no longer your own, The one that like super impresses me again is moms that get back into shape, especially moms that have had like rough deliveries or C-sections, and then them just pulling it together and getting back into shape is pretty impressive. It does not look easy. When I tore my pec, I couldn't lift for like a year without. I took a year off. I probably could have pushed it sooner, but just really didn't want to hurt it because I had small children, so I was like carrying babies and stuff still, and I didn't want to make it worse to where I wasn't able to hold my kids and be an active dad for them. So I had to take like a year off, and I know that like when they get the C-section, like they cut through the muscles and the abs. I just cannot imagine the amount of pain or work it takes to compensate for having your abs torn through or cut through. And that sounds so bad to me. So always very impressed by moms that pull it off. I gotta say, my I have only one true superpower. And I might have said this before, but I am amazing at grocery lines, and especially Costco. For those of you that don't live in the United States or around Costco, Costco is this giant warehouse store where you buy everything in bulk, and the lines can be notoriously long because you have a lot of people there. But I like hardly ever have to wait, and I just sometimes almost magically get lucky um, in Costco. And like yesterday or 2 days ago, I was at Costco and the lines, it was packed, man, super long lines. And I pull up, to the all the lines, and I look around, and like I just was like, okay, like I think this line will be the fastest, but someone told me just hang back just a second and look around, and then magically a lane opened up, and only one person was already in line moved into the new lane, so I got to move into the new lane. And I was out of there so fast, and people around me were still stuck in line that had been there, well before I got there. Just magic. This is the one magic ability I've got. The one superpower. I can get through Costco fast. I got a good workout the other day. One of my kids was not jazzed about eating dinner and kept running away from the table. So, and it was like playing, like we were being silly. So I don't condone this kind of behavior on the regular basis, but my kids just don't want to eat, and so they were jokingly getting up and running away from the table. So I would go and pick them up and bring them back to the table and give them a bite to eat, and they would chew for a minute and then get down, run. So that meal ended up being a workout for me because they weigh like 38 pounds. So I'd let them run across the room and I'd pick them up, carry them back to the table. And I think it did at least like 10 or 15 sets of that. And then, of course, playing with them afterwards. So it was a nice little workout at dinner. I love those little surprise workouts with the kids. Always fun. I've been coughing a lot this week due to being cold, and my youngest kid thinks it's hilarious, and so I'll have like a coughing fit, and they'll they'll join in. And it's funny is they don't do like a little kid's cough. Like they try to really mimic my cough, and it's pretty cute. It's a pretty funny kid, and they get really into it and exaggerate, and it's funny to watch because them just trying to cough like me takes some effort, but then their exaggerated cough takes even more effort, and it's pretty hilarious to watch. As much as I talk about my kids keeping me awake at night, there's they do supply a lot of humor during the day. My favorite is my one kid. I said this story a little bit ago, but I taught my kids the expression that my mom and dad taught to me, which is if you mess with the bull, you get the horn. And my kids were messing with each other, and my younger kid was annoying my older kid and hit them. So the older kid grabbed them by the wrist and started to squeeze them, and they started to cry. and told him to stop it. And then my one kid told the other kid, "You mess with the bull messes with you." Super, super cute kids. They're very, very funny. The funny part is when they try to come up with their own jokes. You tell your kids jokes. And my one kid, I don't even remember what they were, but it was like 10 o'clock at night. They get up and come in our room, and my wife and I were still up watching TV, and they had come up with like 3 jokes, and they were laughing their way through saying each of them, and made no sense. I can't remember. Like I said, I can't remember what they were, but they were just laughing, and that was like the funniest part. And I tried to get them to explain the joke, but they couldn't. However it was like, however it was cracking them up so hard, they couldn't put into words. It was pretty funny. All right. Yesterday when I was doing squats, I had a hard set. And it was like 2 reps in to my squat, and a stream of sweat just dropped, like went to my eye. And it was so hard to finish that set. But I have to. There's something that's really frustrating when you start a set and you have to stop, and then I don't know. I get super frustrated about not finishing sets. And it doesn't. It's one thing if you don't finish the set because you're exhausted and you've hit your max. But for me, it's super frustrating if I don't finish the set because like, oh, my grip is wrong. I got to fix my grip, or sweat gets in my eyes, or oh, you know, my feet aren't the correct width apart. Anything dumb like that just it throws me off, and I fixate on that one mistake. It's funny is you can have a mind that's easily distracted, but man, can it fixate on the weirdest stuff and like the negative stuff. I do. I'm done with 40 pounds. It's 18.14 kilograms. Gonna go down to 30 pounds, 13.6 kilograms. Do a couple of sets and then move the chest flies. That was a weird pause there. Oh. All right. I'm gonna finish up with some chest flies. What's up, KDD W1224? Says Tim get fit. Happy chest day, Timmy. Thanks, man. Thank you, thank you. Oh man, I'm at the tail end of it, just doing some chest flies. Always very apprehensive with chest flies, but trying to do some more of it. How's your Friday going? Got any good plans for the weekends? Just got woke up and ready to move. Good, man. You headed to work or working out, playing some games? Have to go to work? Oh, hopefully wherever you work, the computers are working. So there's a story that Microsoft, some cybersecurity company that does updates for Microsoft, did a bad update according to them this morning. It wasn't a cyber attack, but there was some bad update that crashed like a bunch of computer networks from like LaGuardia Airport, JFK. Um, Anyone that uses Office 365 or 365 is supposed to have some problems. So hopefully you're not flying anywhere. Glad my PC is okay. Although, how about yours? Mine's fine. I shoot this on my phone, on my Apple, my iPhone. So I have no problems. So you know, I don't even my laptop. If I turn it on, would probably not be happy. But I haven't turned it on in a couple of weeks, so it would probably do an update regardless. I do almost everything either on my consoles or on my phone. So I'm good on that side. One of these days, I will, when I have time to actually invest back into gaming, I'll probably pick up a PC and then have to deal with those problems. I think I'm done buying consoles, but we'll see. I was done buying consoles with my PlayStation 4, but my brother surprised me at Christmas with a PlayStation 5. So I'll probably play that for a few years before I have to buy anything. The bummer I heard is that people that are flying to Paris for the Olympics, like some of the athletes, are getting stuck in transit. And that, I cannot imagine how frustrating that has to be if you're supposed to go compete. Yeah, Xbox is Microsoft. Yeah. I don't know how the update would affect them. I mean, it might affect some of their servers for some of the games that they have, but I don't know to what extent. That's one thing. Like I think is rough is some people whose entire I'm trying to speak English here. Someone whose income is entirely based off of video game content and streaming, how bad it is if their connections go down and they can't get access. to the internet. That's got to be incredibly frustrating for them. Can't make money. And it's got to be even more frustrating because I imagine that if you are a streamer and that's how you make the bulk of your income, who knows how much actual cash you have lying around. Because that's the big thing. If you don't have cash and things go haywire for you. That's why it's good to have a hands-on skill. If things go bad, have something that you can build or do just in case. What's up, Small Fit? How you doing, man? Hey, thanks again for that shout out. A couple of your people stopped by, so I appreciate that. That was really nice of you, man. I ended up missing Wednesday. I'm sick, and my kids just keep eating in my sleep. So like on Wednesday, I was just too exhausted and sick to work out, and it was leg day. But I did leg day on Thursday, so I didn't miss it. Do you, Tom? If you miss leg day, is it absolutely just so much more painful for you the next week? Like all other exercises, if I miss, let's say I miss doing chest, the next time I do chest, it's going to be a little bit more sore, but not really that big of a deal. But legs, man, if I miss a week of legs, it's like starting over. Like the very next time I get into it, they're just destroyed. Like the recovery process feels like it takes so much longer. And you seem like a pretty smart guy, Tomo. Do you know why it is that legs get so bad when you miss them? I have to not work out for at least 5, 6 days to feel like that. Like just for your leg. Oh, because you do legs like all the time, so you're like never stopping with your legs. When I was at I got up to 246 a couple of years ago, 246 pounds. When I was trying to come down from that, I was trying not to lift weights because what had happened the year before I'd been at 235, and I got down to 203 and was lifting, and I tore my pec, and then I just jumped back up in weight in the last 6 months of that year to 246. And I was like, and I gotta get down and do whatever it takes, but I don't want to do anything that's gonna hurt me and slow just the weight loss. The weight loss really or the weight gain really scared me because it was so fast, and so I lost the weight. But one of the things I was doing was a lot of squats without weight, and what I would do is I would do like the Wii boxing like from the old days, and every time I got knocked down or I knocked down my opponent, I would do 10 squats. Every time there was a end of the game or end of a round, I would do 10 squats and just do that for like 30 minutes of nonstop, like doing squats. And that was a lot of fun. Almost says bigger the muscle, the bigger the muscle breakdown. Yeah. I was talking about yesterday. Talking about you doing your warm ups with the vest on. Very impressive. Uh, Tom, are you still there? Last night, I took my kids to this indoor play structure. That was my last set, by the way. But I took my kids to this indoor play structure, and you came on, and I was like, oh, like I'll pull up Thomas stream and watch this stream while my kids are playing, and I brought it up, and you were sitting there with your shirt off, and I was like, well, I'm not gonna be able to watch this. It's gonna be very hard to explain to any parent walking by while I'm sitting around with all these kids around watching this guy with his shirt off.